Hello, hello, and welcome. This is Colin McGriff once again, also known as the Church Dropout, and I have my brothers with me on today. Welcome to the Dropouts Hangout. We're about to get into a discussion that I believe is vitally important for young men and men of all ages just to talk about and to have a discussion about because no one really taught me how I should be in marriage. Now, I had a wonderful father who was an example, but just to be mentored or tutored or have some type of structure on what to do when you get married, we we just didn't have that. So it was a lot of trial and error and learning while being in the position of marriage. And it can cause a lot of different things that we could possibly prevent if we had some type of mentorship, some type of tutoring, and some type of guidance from people who have a level head and have an outlook on marriage, that have gone through the trenches and now are seeing success. All right. So, with that being said, I want to welcome my brother Chris, my brother Cam, and my brother Pocky. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You all should see them coming on the screen now. So, at the top, you'll see my brother Christopher. And we call him Chris for short, but yeah. So we got Chris right here. And then we have Cam over to the right up above me. And then we have my brother Pocky. All right. So these are my bros. Hold on. Let me unmute you. All right. All right. Y'all say hello. Hello. Hello.
What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
All right. All right. All right. Um, so guys, we have Chris, we have Cam, and we have Pocky. If you all could, if you don't mind sharing, just where you are in your relationship, just so kind of people will kind of have the different perspectives that will be given to them on today, as far as our relationship status is concerned and where we are, and then we'll kind of go through some of the things that we could have possibly been through. All right, so we'll start with you, Chris. Chris, what is your status so that people will know your kind of your perspective and where you stand with what we're about to discuss?
Um, Currently, I am not married. I am divorced. I was married for 13 years and got divorced um, back in 2019. So yeah, that's where I am right now. I have one beautiful daughter as a result of that marriage, and you know, that's where I am with it right now.
Great, 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 great. So we have Chris, and he was married, currently divorced. So he has a perspective that I believe will help a lot of guys. Cam, where are you in your relationship status and marriage is concerned?
I'm currently married, newly married. I got married last year, August 20th, 2022. Make sure I say that right, right? I don't want to get in trouble. But yes, last year. So we're going on 1 year this year. I was previously married as well. Got a divorce. So I can, definitely speak from a perspective of being married, divorced, and finding new love and finding, true love that feels right, that feels good. And I believe that was sent by God. So that is definitely something that we can speak on.
Nice, nice, nice. All right. So lastly, my brother Pac. Let's hear from Pac. Where do you stand as far as marriage is concerned?
Well, I'm single. No, no.
Don't get in trouble.
Don't get in trouble.
I ain't gonna get in trouble, y'all. Listen, I've been married 21st will make 25 years. So after
Wow.
25
Whoa.
years, I can make jokes like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, 25 years of marriage. Um, it's I can say now it's been a beautiful thing, right? And I know we get more into that as we go on. But 25 years of marriage, I've actually been with my wife for what 27, 28 years, and I've been knowing her for 38 years. So This is like
Wow.
somebody that I've known since I was 5 years old. And you
Wow.
know, yeah. So here we are here, 25 years marriage in. So yep.
Nice, 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 nice. So, listen, as you all, well, some of you all may not know, I'm currently married, and I have known my wife since 2000 and what, four? We've dated since 2005, got married in
Say it right.
2010. Yeah. And this will be what, 13 years. This will be 13 years of marriage. So, um, I'm not as seasoned as Pocky, but we have a little seasoning salt on there. So, we're in a position where we could give some type of advice, some type of guidance concerning marriage. So, with that being said, a lot of guys, bros, a lot of guys, we kind of step into marriage, like I stated before, in the introduction. A lot of us, we really don't see, or a lot of guys don't have even an example of marriage or a good example of marriage. They see, if they do see a marriage, it could be where it's a lot of fussing and fighting and different things like that. So now we grow up with the mindset of this is how marriage has to be, and I think that a lot of people go through their relationships, and the big thing is just the wedding per se, but not really focusing in on the day-to-day grind with this partner that you have, to now build this life. What are y'all thoughts on that, as far as people, their position before they get married, the dating stage? How should we be in the dating stage? Anybody can take that on. How should we be in the dating stage if we know that we're preparing for marriage? Like, this is the person that I want to be with. This is the person that I see myself, living the rest of my life with. I may have never experienced what it is to be married. However, I know that this is who I want to be with, but I just don't have the, detailed things on what to do once I step into it. So what are some tips that we could give in the dating stage that can kind of prepare us for the marriage? What do y'all think about this?
Mm. Well, I'm pretty seasoned, so obviously the dating thing has been a long time for me, right? But
Right.
what I would say, especially, and to me, it's not necessarily an age, but I think once you realize that you want to be in a committed relationship and at some point get married, I think that you should date with the intent of marriage. Meaning, I wouldn't suggest dating somebody like, oh, I'm just like, I would never marry that person. Like, I'm just kicking it.
Right.
To me, you're wasting time. And I know that whole thing of, oh yeah, you got time, live your life a little bit. Listen, that's one thing. But again, if you're saying to yourself, I'm looking to be married, because take it from someone who's been married a long time, that you know, and you got two of my brothers up there who's been down that road and it didn't work. Like, they probably can attest that you don't have time to be wasting on someone that you don't see that future with. So to sort of sum it up, I would say you go with the intent of, I'm not going to date with just the intent of dating. I'm dating with the intent of, I could see myself marrying this person. And again, that doesn't mean you will marry them. That doesn't mean, to that extent. But if you're dating and you can't even see yourself marrying this person, I'm gonna just be real. You're wasting valuable time. You're wasting valuable time. So that's what I would say on that. And I got a few other things, but I'll let my brothers jump in and get their thoughts.
Good, 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 man. So Chris, what do you think about that, being in the dating stage? Like Pac was saying, you know, dating someone with the purpose of, I know we're all not in our 20s anymore. So the dating stage now is, it's like it's a little bit different, or at least, for some it should be a little bit different. So what's your take on that as far as the preparation for marriage?
I've always lived by a rule, and I've shared with people that you can't wait to get married to act married. And what I mean by that is, if you're planning to marry this individual, you definitely have to ensure that you are living a committed life to that person as if you're already married. Because when you get married, if you've not been committed prior to the I do, the ceremony of the wedding, then you're not gonna change just because you got married and put a ring on. Like it's not that portion of you. You don't have self control in that area yet. So you have to practice that prior to becoming officially married. So I think it's very important that we live in a way that, as men, we carry ourselves as being in a committed relationship. If you dating somebody, or especially if you're engaged, because if we want to get deep, and we may go this way a little bit later, but technically when you get engaged, you become married to that person based on the Bible, in the Old Testament, definitely. So you had to conduct yourself. You were just waiting for the ceremony and the commencement of that marriage after the ceremony. Um, but you had to conduct yourself as if you were already married to the young lady that you were engaged to. So that's my
Right,
outlook.
right. That's good, man. Commitment, um, going with the intent from Pocky. Chris is talking about commitment. What's something else, Cam, that you see that we could possibly do as far as um, getting ourselves prepared as men, as far as going into a committed relationship and into that marriage?
Um, you have to be intentional about every conversation you have. So everything from what they like to do to how they act when they get mad to, do they want children? Do they want the financial stages? Like, all of those things you have to have conversations about because those are the true things that you're going to face in a real relationship. If you're not intentional about your conversations, you'll start to be surprised when they act a certain way because you didn't have that conversation with them before. What makes you tick? What makes you happy? Those conversations are very important because you want to know who you're marrying. And just because you think that they look good, yeah, you fell in love. You might be a hopeless romantic. You fell in love in 48 hours. You know what I mean? You meet a girl, oh man, she the one. You fell in love because she looked good. Y'all had a good time. But then after all of that fades and you begin to know the real her, you really see that you're not compatible because you didn't have those conversations that really shows that this person is somebody that you could spend the rest of your life with. Like when we think about time, when we spending time with somebody, you have to feel good with them. You don't want to be with somebody that you don't connect to and feel good with. So I would say you definitely need to have intentional conversations to get to know them and also over tell about yourself as well because you want them to also feel comfortable staying with you because you may have been suave and took them out and did all those things. But when you tell them your likes and don't likes, they may not like that about you. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing in the beginning is a lot of communication, over communicate, and also um, just spending time with each other. Spend time to get to know each other. So be intentional with your conversations.
Now, man, these are things, and you all don't have to stay on mute. We can kind of chime in from here. A lot of these things I didn't hear men talking about when I was dating. I didn't hear men talk about anything about, being intentional with conversation, or any of the stay committed is like, man, you might have to have your backup plan because you never know. So it was kind of like, going into it with this, hey, here's this default setting. You can just always go back to this if this doesn't work out. And I think that approach has been, one thing that has damaged a lot of men from moving forward in committed relationships, because it's the fear of what happens if this doesn't work out. And when you approach something with that, it's kind of like leaving the door open, to the possibility of, it's just like how people say, you know, uh, most businesses, 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years or 3 years, whatever the case, the statistic is. I don't want to approach my business with that in my mind. I just don't. I mean, that may be the reality for most. I want to be a part of the 5%, the 3%, whatever the case may be, that isn't in that percentile of failing. So I understand that those are possibilities, but when we approach something with having failure on our minds or having, some type of setback or this or that, I think that it kind of positions us to leave that option open. One thing that I remember when we first got married, me and Leah, when we first got married, I would always, get to the place to where in my mind, like divorce is an option, because we're fussing, we're fighting, and no, so I don't care, just whatever. It's knowing that you care, knowing that you don't want them to go nowhere, but it would just get to a place to where hey man, when you leave that as an option, now anything can happen. Why? Because you're allowing things to go to the place to where, hey, this is the final place where we could be. But when you kind of close the door to that, it leaves you in a place where I think that is a place of fighting and working things out. But the flip side of that is you have to have someone who desires to work on the relationship. And I think that that's even with dating, having someone that
Yeah.
wants to work on the relationship. Um, and when you have someone that doesn't necessarily want to work on a relationship or doesn't have those skills of knowing how to, like Cameron said, effectively communicate, because we can communicate all day. You say, sup, sup, we're communicating, but we haven't really said anything. We don't know how each other's day is going. We don't know anything about, each other's issues or wins or, what they're happy about, excited about in life. So I think that effective communication is definitely necessary for us to move forward. So guys, when it comes down to, I know Chris said, so I'm going kind of piggybacking on what Chris said. When it comes down to being in a committed relationship prior to marriage, now it's no papers, right? So I'm legally not married to you. So I really don't necessarily, in today's society, have to be committed to you. I can, have me a few little options out here. So what do you all say about that as far as from, encouraging men to really um focus on taming that lion that may be in them? Like, what's your thoughts on this?
So one thing I'll say is that beast inside of you never dies. That hunt inside of you, he never dies. It's
Okay.
just maturity brings the ability to tame that that beast in you. Uh, it's almost like uh, back in the day they used to have the neighborhood dog. You would have that dog that just roamed the whole neighborhood, and then you would have another dog that was kind of bad, but they kept him behind the fence, but he was loose behind the fence, you know. And then you had that one dog, he was real bad, so you had to keep him chained up to the house, the little dog house outside. But I think that's kind of just giving an analogy of kind of how it works. Like at first, you're just out here kind of roaming, you free, you kind of doing what you're doing. When you get into that committed relationship with the intention of marriage, you kind of you put yourself in the fence and you kind of saying, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna go outside of this for what I need. Like I'm gonna stick inside of here and make sure that everything I'm putting my energy and effort in is for this to be better, so that we can have a successful marriage. I think a lot of people get fascinated by the idea of marriage. They get excited about the wedding and the fun of a wedding, but I don't think that they really understand the detailed work that comes with a marriage. And I'll say this too. It don't have to be hard. Absolutely, it does not have to be hard. Like if you got two people really pushing towards the same goal, even when challenges come, it doesn't have to be hard. It's when we're going against each other that it becomes hard.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So, um, with it, some guys will say this though. To Chris,
Yeah,
some
go
guys
ahead.
will say this. So, to me, because I never had, anybody to show me how to be committed. Everybody that was around me, was going from door to door, pretty much. They had about three or four of them. They'll hang up with one, they'll, call the other. They'll go see one and leave her, and then, hey, man, I got to head over
Yeah.
here. They spend the night over there, and then, so um, what should we do in order to change our mind, in order to get like to a place, and anybody can chime in on this, but what should we do to get to a place to where we go from being that lion that's out there seeking, like what do we need to do in order to like really change that mindset? What are some tips that we can have, that we can really do to change that mindset? What do you all think?
I would say one of the biggest things is you have to learn you. I think we are clouded a lot of times because we always feel like we have to have somebody, and we never spent the time of learning ourselves. Like you can't be prepared for somebody else to love somebody else, and you don't even know how to love yourself. You don't even know how to spend time with yourself. You don't know how it feels to go without sex because you out here doing what you're doing in these streets. You don't know how it feels to just keep yourself in check. So I think sometimes men, we need to take a hiatus and actually do some self-care. Like that's big right now. Self-care, self-love. Love yourself. You know what I mean? And take that energy and put it in different places as well. I think that will prepare you so when you do find somebody that you can be committed to, it'll be easier because now you have spent time with yourself. And now you are committed to somebody that wants to be with you, and you want to be with that person, so y'all can come together as often as you can, especially if you're married, um, because you both are committed to each other and want to serve each other as well. So I would say you need to learn how to spend time with yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Cool. 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 I don't know. Are you on? Can't. I think you muted, Pop.
We can hear you. I can hear him.
There you go. Say
Yeah.
something now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yep. Yep. I can hear you.
Okay. I don't see Cam, but I can see y'all.
Yeah.
There we
Cam
go.
went out for a second. All right. There
Okay.
we go. Everybody's
There we
on.
go. All right. So what I would say is in this particular case, I think one of the things that's super important, and I know it's not what everybody wants to hear, and but the truth of the matter, I believe one of the biggest problems, and this not just men, it's men and women, is that in the dating process, we hop into sex too fast. And because we hop into sex so quickly, immediately our judgment is clouded on who this person is, because let's just be real, it clouds everybody's judgment. Like it puts you in a different mindset. You it's an exchange. It's the closest, it's intimate, it's the closest you can be with somebody. It's an exchange of energy, it's an exchange of spirit, and it's an exchange. So a lot of times, that because we go there so quickly, and obviously we're not even going into the whole thing of waiting for marriage, that's a whole discussion in itself, but go into it so quick that we don't really know who we're dealing with, right? And on a spiritual level, on a character level, on a personality level. So here's the thing. I think in the dating process, there's nothing wrong with initially dating multiple people. And when I say dating multiple people, maybe not even all simultaneously at the same time, but if you dated a woman if you're a guy and you dated a woman and y'all went on a couple of dates and you let her know, like, listen, we're just dating. I'm actively seeking, again, someone for my future. Not saying I'm gonna marry you or nothing, but I'm not out here just doing whatever. So I'm gonna be honest. I need to get to know you, but it may be someone else I want to get to know as well. What I think where the lines get crossed and it gets all crazy is when sex get involved. Because now, once sex is involved, now I feel like, you know, from the girl perspective, may feel like, well, I thought you're mine because we've shared this intimate connection, and vice versa. So um, I think, again, you should date with intentions of, this is someone I would marry. I think in the beginning, it is okay to date multiple people, but I think it should be known that I'm dating multiple people. Or again, even if it's not all at one time, it's, I'm gonna date this person and we're gonna go out and I'm gonna let them know whatever, and then I'm gonna date another person. But because sometimes, let's be real, how do you know the person that you're dating is the one? It might be someone else. But again, because to me, sex gets involved, and immediately that's a connection that puts people together, and they never able to really bounce off of it, and it just sort of goes from there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's something that they used to call, well, not used to, they still call it soul ties. When
Right.
you connect with somebody like that, you go beyond just the feeling of I like you.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to something else. You may not be in love with them, but you're connected to them.
Right.
So in a way, it's harder to break the connection, even if it's toxic, because the sex good. You could be in a toxic relationship and the sex is good, and you'll stay with them because the sex is good, but you got all this toxic stuff. Y'all fighting, y'all arguing, and then it's something that we're gonna talk about too. This is topic we're gonna talk about, but it's makeup sex is the worst sex. You know why? Because it had to be so much toxic to lead up into the makeup part. So all of this, yeah, it's good, it's fun, but that toxic time that you had with each other to lead up to that part, no, you should be loving each other and lead up to the same type of activity that you would have in the makeup sex, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You should have that same fun, same excitement without the toxic trait.
Yeah, man. I think that's it. Now, personally have had some great, makeup, but but the thing is, if that is the only time that we have amazing sex, then it's something wrong.
Problem.
It's something wrong, because now I have to wait for a negative situation to happen just for me to enjoy you, just for us to like the space that we're in, which is the most intimate part of our marriage. Because you can be friends with a female or the opposite sex or same sex. You can be friends with them, but what makes this thing the commencement and the commitment of this one person, the two people coming together and being as one, is that's where that sex comes in, because like Cam said, it's the soul tie. So this is what's tying us together. This is what's connecting us together spiritually. So, if that is how we connect spiritually with negativity, then our foundation can't be the love of God. It just can't be. It can't, our foundation can't be God if that is the only time that we can have good sex, because we should be able to, hey man, go upstairs. It's that time. You know what I'm saying? And go up there and have an amazing time together. Why? Because we are connected spiritually, and we don't have to have something to happen. And y'all already know how I talk about the Bible. If you have to have tragedy to happen for you to listen to God, it doesn't show that that's how God operates. It shows that you aren't a good listener. If you have to have negativity to happen in order for you to pay attention to your spouse, that doesn't show that you are a good spouse. That shows that you aren't really interested in the person that you say that you want to spend the rest of your life with. So we have
Right.
to start liking one another. We can love each other, but you know, there comes a point of time in marriage you have to see, do I actually like this person? Now, y'all don't leave me out here by myself. Don't leave me out here by myself.
Nah,
You already, you can love them, but then you got to get, hey, am I really liking this person? You know,
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you don't get longevity just off of love. You know, you definitely have to like someone to be with them for 25 years. Or you know what I mean, whatever. You know, a
right.
couple of years you can get away with it, but when you start to get past that 7-10 year mark, you better be liking them, or you just gonna be living in misery, you know.
Yeah.
Yep,
So I agree.
yep, yep. Well, guys, we're at the 30-minute mark. I don't want to hold my brothers. I know that we have a lot of stuff going on, but this has been an amazing topic. We're going to be here every single um, week, possibly every single week, coming in and just showing you all exactly what it means to be brothers who can come together, share different discussions, have different perspectives, and just give a foundation so that you could build off of. Pocky may have a different outlook on a certain topic than I may have, but whatever resonates with you, we're not leading you in a place of destruction. Chris may have a different outlook. Chris sometimes has a different outlook on things, you know than I have. But his process and the way that he thinks about different things, it can kind of give you a different standard to build your foundation off of. And Cam the same way. I call Cam, the love script. He's the love scriptures. The scriptures of love is written upon Cameron's heart. He knows how to love and how to love unconditionally. That's something that Colin is still working on. All right, but so his perspective can be a lot different than mine, because I can just say, "Hey, man, I'm done with them." Cam say, "Nah, man, we have to." So it's different perspectives that will come together. And I believe that as us being brothers, we can now connect. We can connect with other brothers who are out here, and women as well, that want to be a part of the Dropouts Hangout. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're everywhere. So definitely subscribe. Definitely become a part of what we have going on. We have our app. One thing that I do want to show is our app. You can download our app. This is Accelerated Life Network. You can join the community that way. And you can just definitely support everything that we have going on right now. So, with that being said, I don't want to hold anybody. I didn't mean to have that on that long. I don't want to hold anybody. But we are appreciative of everybody that's here. We just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Pocky, Colin, Chris, and Cam. We just wanted to say thank you all for joining in and hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Any last words from anybody? Y'all can say goodbye, or any last words concerning the conversation that we had on today.
No,
I,
for me, I just look forward to having a lot more. Go ahead, Pocky.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, that was it. I just look forward to having a lot more. This was fun.
Yes, yes. I was gonna say the same thing. I really enjoyed this. I think it's beneficial for the community, for other men out there and women. And these are the type of conversations that need to happen, getting perspectives from different angles. And just as we all know, like we all are God based, right? So that's our foundation. But we can all have different perspectives on things. And just to those that's listening, I would just say, don't waste time. Like again, if your goal is to be in a committed marriage, don't waste time in foolishness. You just wasting time, and time is short. That's my final words.
Chris, you have anything, bro?
Man, I enjoyed it. I think we could have got a little deeper in some things, but I know this is our first time coming together. I just say come join us again in the hangout. Hang out with us, and I think not even think, I know you'll be blessed because we'll go a lot deeper and give a lot of different perspectives and different angles and outlooks on what we have in store for you. Because our goal is to help not only ourselves as brothers, but to help our community as well. So I look forward to it.
Yep. All right, guys. So we thank you all for joining us once again. This is the Dropouts Hangout, and we want you all to go and subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. Join us on Facebook, Instagram. We have a lot of things in store for you all, and it's just going to be connecting you all to the source. We have resources. We're going to share resources, but our goal is to connect you back to the source that can change everything for you. So, like I say every single time that I'm on here, I love you. But more importantly, God loves you. Until next time, you all be blessed.